Welcome back. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss about the linearization around a trajectory. So far, what we have observed that if I have some linear LTI system or linear LTV system means linear time invariant system and time varying system, then how to talk about the solutions. And today's lecture we are going to see that how to use that solution for the nonlinear autonomous system, non-autonomous system, force system. So I have some nonlinear system, and what we have observed in the previous lecture that if we linearize that system about the equilibrium point, then whatever system we have received, that is linear autonomous system. And if I have force system and if I will linearize about the equilibrium point, then again I will get some kind of forced linear system. But in today's lecture, I am going to perform linearization around a trajectory. And it is possible to show that these kind of concepts are quite useful for the space missions and some kind of military purposes. These kind of means in that particular case, basically we are performing linearization around a trajectory, and we all are aware that nowadays means India is basically doing lot of space missions, and some of you might have interested to join ISRO or some kind of institution which is dealing with the space related stuff. And due to that reason, I think that this lecture is become valuable, and I have taken at least three practical examples where we are going to perform the linearization around a trajectory whenever we are dealing with the space missions. So let us start the today's lecture. So I have now non-linear non-autonomous system. It means that you can see here that right hand side of this differential equation, now that is explicit function of time also. And again I am assuming that this function, that f, that is function of time. And here if you are writing in mathematical way, then people are assuming that t belongs to r, but for engineers, that is we are just talking about the positive time, and this represents the Cartesian product, and d is the subset of Rn. Most of time whenever we are talking about nonlinear model, so nonlinear model is only valid in some vicinity. It means that suppose you can take example of two-dimensional system. So in this two-dimensional system, suppose I have some model that is that can take value of a state space anywhere in this space. But if you see and that particular system, then you are able to find that basically some particular model is only valid in some small vicinity, and that vicinity is nothing but d. And here that is generalization. Similar kind of situation in Rn dimensional space. Suppose that whatever nonlinear model and whatever model we are going to construct for some physical process, that is only valid in some small vicinity, and that vicinity is subset. This representation is called subset of Rn. So similar kind of assumptions here we have. So I have first ordered pair from R plus and another from this subset, and that finally map to Rn. It means that somehow what we are telling that even if x belongs to this particular subset, but I cannot give guarantee that x dot is also going to belongs to this subset. That means rate of change may be outside of this particular subset also. Due to that reason, this function f mapping from R plus Cartesian product d to Rn. After that, whenever we are constructing any mathematical model for the for any physical system, I have already told you that we are talking about the unique solution. So what we are telling that, suppose I have now some non-autonomous system, and inside this system we are going to give some kind of input, and we are going to get that kind of output. So we are talking about the output means solution. So we are assuming that in this particular nonlinear system, this particular value f, that is at least one time continuously differentiable. So that is represented by C1. Sometime in mathematics book you might have seen that this kind of notion also people are using. And again, this function of means this continuous function, I have already told you that meaning of this, that this is the means domain, and domain of function, and this is the codomain or range of the function. And phi is a given solution, because now I know that this is the solution for all time t greater than equal to r. So for engineering problem you can just tell that r is nothing but r plus. So this is the assumption. It means that if I supply some kind of initial condition to this system, then I will get some kind of unique solution. And here you can see that no forcing function is involved. Due to that reason, I am assuming that input is just as the initial condition x0. Now what we are going to see that how will a small deviation, it means that we know that phi t is my solution of this particular differential equation x dot equal to f tx. So it means that whenever we are telling that phi t is the solution of this differential equation, it means that that will satisfy this kind of differential equation. It means that we are talking phi dot t is nothing but f t phi t. So now suppose that if I will consider some value of x, that is phi t plus delta x. So somehow I am deviating my solution by phi t plus delta x, then we are going to see the behavior of this solution. So I know some nominal solution, and after that I am going to deviate that solution and try to see the effect, or somehow this particular things is known as linearization about the trajectory, because we are telling that a small deviation across this solution. So similar kind of things I am telling. Suppose this is my solution phi t, I have taken a small deviation delta x, phi t plus delta x. So it means that we are seeing the output, because after giving, I have some system, and after that I am giving the input, and after that we are getting the output. So what we are telling that my initial condition is fixed. Now initially I have some solution phi t, but if solution is deviated within some tube, then we are going to see the effect of the deviation of this solution. And how basically we can consider the effect? Again, we have to come to the original mathematical model. So first I can generate some kind of error, that is delta x minus phi t. So basically phi t is my original solution, which we have already seen that, which is known to me, and after that I am going to generate another solution x, that is phi t plus delta x. So phi t plus delta x is my next output, and these things also satisfy the differential equation, and due to that reason I am telling that in terms of deviation my differential equation can be represented like this. So we know that delta x is nothing but x minus phi t. So if I define delta x equal to x minus phi t, and if I differentiate with respect to time, then I have to also consider differentiation of x, and this is nothing but x dot. So x dot is ftx. After that phi dot t, because I am telling that phi t is the solution, and due to that reason this term comes into picture. And you can see that I am going to denote this kind of differential equation in terms of a small deviation. Due to that reason, I am going to substitute x by x plus delta x plus phi t. And here I am assuming that this delta x is very small. And if you are assuming that delta x is very small, then it is possible to show that I can represent this whole quantity like this. And this particular matrix, you are already well aware, that is nothing but the Jacobian of f across this particular solution phi t. So, and this particular result is coming due to the Taylor series expansion. So I am not going to discuss what is the Taylor series expansion because we have already done this. So this matrix dou f1 tx by dou x1 dou f1 tx by dou xn, because I am assuming x belongs to Rn, and after that we are linearizing this about the phi. So in place of x, now I am going to substitute phi t. So somehow we are telling that x equal to phi t here. Now try to see that in this particular formulation I have written two terms, this term plus this term. So I have to define this term, means this is big F t delta x. So I have to define this term. Obviously I have added this term. So inside this ftx I am defining like this. So ft delta x is the, basically I have ft delta x minus phi t minus ft phi t, and whatever term I have defined there, same kind of things I am going to subtract from here. So Jacobian matrix I am going to subtract from here. Now we are going to talk about one more result, and that is very important result, and for time being you have to believe on me. So due to that reason I have just written the claim. And meaning of this claim, if you see the definition of continuity in higher dimension space, so what basically that is suggesting, that suppose that you have some function ft delta x and f is continuous with respect to delta x, and if that is again for all t, means what we are telling that you can take any value of t and any compact set. It means that because here time is argument, so I can tell that time is varying anywhere from here to here, but actually meaning of the compact subset of I belongs to R is that it might possible, suppose that if you are simulating your system using some kind of computer, then I have some jump on this particular time. So due to that reason, even if you consider this particular interval, compact interval, after that you can consider this compact interval, and after that third compact interval, this result remains the same, and this is called a small o notion. Meaning of this small o, and this is norm of delta x, and norm of delta x for time being you can assume that whenever we are writing norm, then I am talking about the two norm for time being. So that is nothing but, because you all are well aware about two norm, due to that reason I am telling that this is the two norm, and delta x2 square, and similarly up to delta xn square, like that. This is the definition of norm for time being. Now if this is continuous, then it is possible to show that for very small delta x tending towards 0, this particular value ft delta x by delta x and supremum, actually what happens that whenever we are talking about maximum, I hope that some of you may not aware about what is meaning of supremum. So for them, suppose that you have certain quantity that is lying between 1 to 2, and if you have written x and x belongs to some kind of set like this, and suppose sometime if you are writing x belongs to 1 to 2, so here close interval, here open interval. So you can see that here if I am telling x belongs to 1 minus 1 comma 2, it means that x may be lie between 1 to 2. So I know the maxima, so maximum value is 2. But here if here open bracket, then I cannot talk about maximum value, because one can sometime one can take, okay, maximum value is 1.999, then another person will come and they put one more 9 here, and so it is not possible to define maxima. So in that case I cannot talk about the maxima. In such kind of situation we are talking about supremum. Supremum means that, okay, we are telling that if I will take some value, then all value is just less than that. So if you take 2, so 2 is not belongs to this set, because here this is open bracket, but I cannot give but I can give guarantee that all value of x is less than 2. So that is the supremum. Similarly, if here open bracket, then I cannot talk about the minima, but I can talk about the infimum. So that is the meaning of this supremum. So slowly you have to understand all mathematical notions. And limit delta x tending towards 0, it means that we are assuming that whatever variation we have considered, that is very small. And if you see the definition of continuity of some function, then you are able to find out that definition of continuity is also telling same thing, that if limit delta x tending towards 0, then ratio of these two quantity equal to 0. So under that assumption, we are assuming that in this particular formulation, this value for delta x, very small delta x, there is no effect of this term under this assumption. So finally the deviation is given like this, and that is called linearization about the trajectory phi t. So here basically we are performing linearization about the trajectory, not about the equilibrium point. So there is no need to worry about the equilibrium point. This is very generalized linearization, and I will tell you the application in the later part of this course. And due to that reason, if I define this Jacobian matrix about the trajectory phi t as a AT, so whatever model I am going to get, that can be represented like this. And I have already told you that under continuity condition, this is very small. So if you substitute delta x by z, so just you can define delta x equal to z, then whatever linearized model you are going to get, that is represented like this. And please see here that AT is now no longer linear time invariant. This is linear time varying system. So what we are telling that, now if I have some system x dot equal to f t x, and if I know some solution phi t, and if I linearize that system about that solution phi t, then whatever linearized system that comes into picture, that is represented by LTP system. So in this way I can linearize some linear means non-linear non-autonomous system about some trajectory, and we are able to get some kind of LTV system, linear time varying system. And due to that reason, we have learned the solution of linear time varying system. In this way we are talk about the solution of non-linear non-autonomous system about some kind of trajectory. Now let us generalize this result. So because I am going to consider the more general class of the system, and here what I am allowing that my system is non-autonomous force system. So that is explicit function of time, explicit function of state, and u also. And again, whenever we are considering this, I have already told you that nonlinear model is always valid in only some vicinity, and that vicinity I have defined as a D1. So whatever state x that is going to lie inside that vicinity, for engineering problem I am assuming that whatever time I am going to consider, that is only positive time. And control I can select anything, but most of time due to actuator limitations or several mathematical limitation, I cannot take control anything. So due to that reason, again we are taking control from some bounded set only, and due to that reason D2 comes into picture. So we are telling that suppose if I have m dimensional control, so I can take control from for any value from the m dimensional space. But due to some practical constraint or due to several constraints, I am only going to consider the small subset of Rm, and that is D2 and D1, where our state is going to lie. So slowly you have to understood the all notions, because whenever you are going to read some paper, this kind of notion is frequently used, and you can see that if you write like this, then all information is automatically comes into picture. There is no need to write explicitly that what is f, or means where x is belongs, where u is belongs, what is mapping. So everything is clear. Due to that reason, this is the complete representation. And most of time, I have already told you that engineering problem, we are also specifying about the initial condition. So we are assuming that this is the initial condition for this particular system. Again, assumption about the solution, because I have to linearize this system about some solution. Due to that reason, and I have to take Jacobian also. So in order to take Jacobian, I have to talk about the continuity. So due to that reason, I am assuming that whatever function f I am going to consider, that is continuously differentiable in their argument. And if that is not continuously differentiable in their argument, then I cannot linearize. And this phi t is the solution. So I am going to linearize this particular function about this particular solution. And we are assuming that whatever solution, I am assuming that that solution should be exist. So here I am not going to discuss the existence condition, just we are assuming that phi t solution can be reconstructed from the initial condition x0 and given a specific control psi. So what we are telling that now my system is fourth system. So I have initial condition x0, I have control u, and suppose this is phi t is the solution. So I am assuming that with help of x0 and u, I can construct this solution phi t, and whatever u, I have already told you that I cannot take it any arbitrary value. So I am assuming that that is coming from this set psi, and again that is continuously differentiable. I am assuming, because again I have to calculate Jacobian with respect to u. Due to that reason, I am assuming, and that may be function of time, and Rm is the dimension, their dimension. So in this way, we are writing the function phi where control is belongs, and if that is phi t is the solution, so automatically I can write like this. For engineering system, I have taken positive here. So basically same kind of things I have represented. I have already told you about this. Again, what I am going to do, again I am going to do same kind of exercise. I am going to linearize this system about the trajectory and about the control. So I know that corresponding to psi t and x0, I have solution phi t. Now I fixed my initial condition, and after that I am deviating my control. Then we are going to see the deviation in the solution. That is the meaning. And again, similar way, I can write like this. I have already explained to you this, and after that I am going to substitute x in terms of delta x, u in terms of delta u, and after that again by the use of Taylor series expansion, because I am assuming that delta x and delta u is very small, I can write like this. So basically these two terms now I have to define. So since I have defined these two things, so basically what we are telling that these two terms are nothing but this term minus this term, and after that we are separating some terms in terms of delta x u, some term as t and delta u, and if you do that, then you are able to find this kind of things. And again I have told you that means somehow I am going to convert my nonlinear system into linear system, and that is not always possible. So you have to make certain kind of assumption, and this kind of linearization about the trajectory or about the equilibrium is only possible in the small vicinity. And how to define a small vicinity, or how to give that a small vicinity is not going to dominate over whatever dynamics, linearized dynamics. So again you have to take help of the continuity of this function. and I am assuming that whatever function f1 I have defined, that is continuous, because I am assuming that everything is continuous. So addition or subtraction of two continuous function is again continuous function. Believing on that, and after that again similar kind of notion whatever I have explained you in the first part. Similarly, I am telling that here supremum for all ti and under delta x this equal to 0, and if f1 is continuous with respect to delta x uniformly in t, means for all value of the t, even if t is some kind of finite number of discontinuity is allowed, and due to that reason we are talking about subset of R, then we are telling that this particular value is not going to dominate. Under that assumption we are going to do the linearization. Similarly, second term I am telling that now with respect to u also this term f2 is continuous, and again by definition of continuity I can talk about this. So for time being you can just remember this result, but in the future course or somewhere I am going to tell you that how to define the continuity in higher dimension space, and after that you are able to picturize that why I am telling this result. So now what I am telling that if you define this value as a at, so linearization of the trajectory about the phi t or psi t, and that is at. Similarly, linearization of f with respect to u as a bt, then finally you are going to land up to this equation. And if delta x and delta u are very small, then it is possible to show that linearized dynamical system is delta x dot equal to at delta x plus bt into u. Now what you can do, you can define delta x as a z and delta u as a u some another function, and it is possible, it is better that you can replace by different function. Using this definition I will get this kind of linearized system. So basically what happens that if I have some non-autonomous force system, and if you linearize that system about the phi t is the trajectory and ut is the control, so ut I have defined like psi, so psi, then you are able to get this kind of mathematical model, and this is LTV, linear time varying force system. So you have LTV force system. And why I am telling force system, because u is also present here. So in this way I can perform the linearization of any non-autonomous non-linear force system about the trajectory about the selected control input. So now you can see that here in this way I can specify the value of control, value of trajectory, and whenever you are doing the space mission, always you know the trajectory, you have to define the trajectory in advance, that with what trajectory you are going to basically approach towards moon or any lunar mission. So you have to specify both kind of things. Similarly, if for defense purpose you want to drop somewhere missile, then somehow you are knowing the trajectory across which trajectory means if I will fire such that that particular target is going to destroy after some time t or some finite time t. So similar kind of things again comes into picture. So first example I have taken that is because you all are well aware that geostationary satellite has several use. So first I am going to tell you that how basically control system is going to help in order to maintain some kind of satellite in a given orbit. So in order to understand that kind of concept, again first I have to define the dynamical equation of satellite, and after that across some particular plane, because you can see that means if you are just talking about the our earth and atmosphere, and suppose that after certain distance if I have to maintain the satellite, then that is three-dimensional problem. But what I am telling that suppose that you are here, and in that plane if you want to maintain some kind of satellite such that, because geostationary satellite means that means looks like always stationary with respect to us. So due to that reason, we are assuming that observer as well as satellite on the same plane. And if you are just going to consider the planar equation, then you have only two forces are required. So here I have defined my problem only in 2 dimension, but actually really this problem is 3 dimensional problem. But initially, when people are launching their satellite, then at that time they are just consider this 2 dimensional analysis. Sometimes they are also keeping 3 dimensional analysis, three different thruster they are means substituting inside the satellite. So first we will understood this problem for 2 dimension, and later there are in several standard book. If you have interest, then please go and see that how basically one can extend this 2 dimensional problem into 3 dimension. So what I am assuming that I have some satellite and mass of that satellite is m here, and obviously if this satellite in the earth orbit, then there are several forces acting on this satellite. So one force is obviously due to earth, and another force due to other object like sun, moon, or whatever closer object. So somehow they are that is affected by all different kind of forces, and we are not knowing that what kind of force, external force is acting on this satellite. At least we are well aware that one force due to our earth, but we are not aware about the other forces. So whatever things we are not going we do not know, we are assuming that as a disturbance, some kind of disturbance. So here problem is like this. Suppose that I am assuming that r is the radius, and I am telling that since we know that earth is always rotating, so somehow I have to rotate this particular satellite also with similar velocity, then only I can tell that distance between us and that particular satellite remains the same. And due to that reason, I am considering the two things: radius, I have to maintain satellite on this radial distance, and angle theta. After that, now you can see that I am assuming that because I am just talking about problem in 2 dimensional plane, due to that reason I am going to consider only two kind of thrust. One is radial thrust and another is tangential thrust. If you will consider 3 dimensional problem, then three thrusts comes into picture, and I am assuming that thrust is v1 and v2. And why that thrust is required? Because I have already told you that means that is required for two reasons. First, in order to place in this orbit. Second, in order to maintain this orbit. So because I do not know external disturbances, that is the role of these two thrusts. So one of the way to do mathematical model means, in order to get dynamical model, you can use the concept of Lagrangian, and now you are already well aware about the concept of Lagrangian. So first I have to calculate the potential energy, and suppose that if I know two mass, so I have one mass due to earth and one is the mass of satellite. So if you calculate the potential energy, so that is with the, between these two, so that is gmm by r square. So I am assuming that this potential energy with respect to r means r square, so km by r square. So basically this is not r square, I have done mistake here. So so basically this is nothing but r, so I am going to remove this mistake. So here you can see that potential energy is minus gmm by r, and whatever g and m, I am considering that as a k. So that gives us some kind of constant, and I am assuming that kind of constant, that is multiplication of some constant g and mass of earth by k. So that is constant. And kinetic energy, how to calculate the kinetic energy? That is half m, and here I have two direction. So you can see that mass is basically I have to send this satellite in certain orbit. So I am telling that this radius is also changing with respect to time, and due to that reason r dot comes into picture. Again, since this particular satellite is also rotating, due to that reason I have to calculate the velocity v, and v at v equal to, you already know that what is how to calculate v if we are on circular motion. So that is v is omega cross r, and due to that reason what happens, this kind of relation half mv square comes into picture. So half m v square, and where v is r, theta dot, r means omega, and due to that reason second term comes into picture. And after that we will calculate the Lagrangian, that is kinetic energy minus potential energy. So basically this terms comes into picture, and once I will get this term, then I can use the Lagrangian equation d by dt. So this is a standard, I have already talked this in lecture number 4 or 5, please check it. And after that, this is the thrust in the radial direction, and this is due to some kind of disturbance, we are not knowing the disturbance. Similarly, this is thrust in the radial direction, and this is thrust in radial, this is thrust in the angular direction, and this is the disturbance in angular direction. If you solve this equation, where L I have already defined here, that is like this, so you will get this kind of expression. So I have done this kind of calculation, so please recheck this calculation, that this calculation is okay or not. And after that, for time being, I am assuming that this particular term is not present, so I am assuming that disturbance equal to 0. Most of time people are doing this, and in order to design control, they are designing robust control, then they are basically considering this also. So most of time whenever we are designing control system, at that time we just need the nominal model, and after that we have required some certain kind of information. So for time being I am assuming that dr equal to d theta equal to 0. So just I have to place the satellite in this orbit, and after that we are not going to worry about that. But really we have to become worry after the placing satellite there also, because there are several unknown forces going to act on the satellite. But for time being we simplify our problem under this assumption. Now you can see that if thruster is not present, it means that suppose I achieve some kind of circular orbit. After achieving the circular orbit, what I have done, I have switched off the two thruster. So V1 and V2 both equal to 0 for all t greater than equal to 0, and we are again assuming there is no disturbance. It is possible to show that if you substitute these two quantity, and if you maintain two real numbers by this particular relation, so this relation people have already derived, then they found that they have two different equation, and if you maintaining this kind of relation by selecting sigma, omega, and k, you are already knowing k is nothing but g or m is the mass of the earth, then solution of this two differential equation is actually given like this. So RT equal to some real number sigma, and theta t is omega t. So you can see that what happens, that I have certain quantity that is sigma, and I have theta t that is omega t. So that is changing with respect to time. It means that we are on some kind of circular orbit. That is the meaning of this particular solution. Now what is the relation between sigma and omega? I have already told you that this is the relation between sigma and omega. So we have to specifically select sigma and omega, then only I can achieve this kind of orbit, and radius of that orbit is sigma, otherwise I will not get. So this kind of calculation people have already done before sending the satellite into geostationary orbit, and we know that k is positive, due to that reason sigma is positive and omega not equal to 0. Now what I have to do, I have to form the state space representation, because you can see here that higher order differential equation is present here, because I am talking about r double dot theta double dot. So what is meaning of state space representation? We are converting this fourth order differential equation into set of first order differential equation, because this is second order, so total fourth order I am telling. So due to that reason I have to do some kind of definition. And what we have seen that if we are on this particular orbit, at that time value of RT equal to sigma and theta t equal to omega t. Due to that reason, now what I am going to do, I am telling that how to maintain in this orbit only. So due to that reason, I am interested in the state space model around this particular orbit, and radius of orbit is sigma and angular angle is theta t omega t. Is it means that angular velocity theta dot, if you calculate, that is omega. So what we are going to conclude, that I want to place my satellite in certain orbit and I want to rotate that particular satellite with some specific velocity, that is omega. So I have to linearize, or I have to express this higher order differential equation in the error of RT minus sigma theta t minus omega t. So if you do that, then you have to define the variable. So I have to define variable like this: x2, if you define x1 rt minus sigma, sigma is some constant, then obviously r dot I have defined like x2. Similarly theta minus omega t, again if you calculate theta dot and omega, then that is x4, and I am assuming v1 t by m, that is u1, and this as a m, means this as a u2. Under this particular assumption, it is again possible to write this model like this. So please just check it, that why this kind of state space representation comes into picture, because now you are already well aware about these kind of things. So what I have done, I haven't done anything, just from these two equations I am going to, from this equation I am going to convert it into first order equation, and I am going to maintain these kind of variable: x1 equal to rt minus sigma, x2 equal to r dot. After that, now after getting this, I am assuming that since this is nonlinear equation, highly nonlinear equation, so now I am going to do approximation. So one way of approximation is that you can just calculate the Jacobian. Another way, you can neglect or throw all nonlinear term. Then also it is possible to get the nonlinear means linear model. So same kind of things I have done for simplicity purpose. I have multiplied, and whatever linear term I am going to keep it, and whatever non-linear term I am going to throw it. And in that way, if you do, so just please again check it, and after that we will get this kind of linearized model. So our linear model is looking like this. So what we have found that if you see our original system, so original system is basically that force system represented by non means autonomous force system. So this is nothing but I have autonomous force system. But what kind of linearization we are doing? You can see that I am linearizing about some kind of trajectory, because theta t is changing with respect to time. So due to that reason I am telling that as a trajectory. But what is our end result? Even if I have time varying trajectory, but whatever linearized model I have achieved, or means I will get, so that is actually nothing but linear time invariant system. So it means that if you have force system, and if you are going to do linearization about the trajectory, sometime it might possible that you are just going to land up with LTI system. In second example, I am going to tell you that, means even if I have some kind of force system and I have autonomous force system, and if you linearize about the trajectory, at that time you are able to get some kind of LTV system. And for that I have taken another example, that is rocket, and you all know that in order to send some satellite in some orbit, rocket is required, and due to that reason I have taken the example of rocket. So here I am assuming that mass of this rocket is m, and initially this is the height of the rocket, and that height of rocket is ht. After that, you can see that first I have to do the dynamical model of this rocket. So this is height with respect to ground, this is our ground. So here rate of change of height I have defined as a velocity, and v dot, so I have to do mv dot, that is mg. So obviously whenever rocket going to leave the ground, at that time some attraction force due to gravity comes into picture, and that is mg. And after that, since this rocket is going to leave the ground, so some kind of thrust that is going to act in the upward direction, and we are assuming that amount of thrust is basically proportional to the m dot. And what is my m dot? M dot is the rate of change of the mass inside. So how basically we are means formulating the dynamical equation. Whenever we are constructing some kind of physical rocket, at that time we are maintaining some kind of gases or something, such that when that will burn, and we are throwing that gas in the backward direction, and that is creating some kind of upward force. So what I am assuming that that particular upward force is proportional to the m dot, and v is the escape velocity, because finally we are assuming that whatever rocket we are going to construct, that is escape from this particular means gravitational means particular atmosphere or gravitational field, and due to that reason I have selected here escape velocity. And so if you multiply ve, m and m, so actually I have momentum. So momentum p is m, that v, and v I am assuming constant, then rate of change of momentum equal to force, so that is m dot into ve. Due to that reason I have written this expression, and m is basically m v dot, that is due to second law of Newton's, f equal to ma. So same kind of things I have applied here. I am assuming this direction as a positive, so due to that reason I have taken positive sign here. And mass, I have already told you that means whatever thrust, whatever control I am going to provide, that is because that is acting on the negative direction, then only due to thrust this rocket is going to travel in upward direction, and due to that reason I have taken negative sign here. So this is the dynamical model of the rocket. Now I have to linearize this rocket, because I have told you that means I am assuming that with constant rate I am going to throw the gas in backward direction. And after that, so in this way what happens, my mass, whatever mass inside this rocket, that is going to decay with respect to time. And what is relation, because I know the m dot equal to ut, so that is initial mass m star, that is initial mass of gas or fuel, and minus u star into t. So now I have to linearize this whole system, and about this I am assuming that I have to maintain height h star after some time, or I have to maintain some kind of a specific height. This is the some kind of a specific velocity, and this is some kind of a specific mass mt. So if you linearize this system, then you can do the Jacobian linearization, and here x tilde is the small deviation between xt and x star t, and we are telling this as a linearization about the trajectory, because we know that everything is changing. We know the path, under what path I am going to send the rocket. Due to that reason, this is again linearization about the trajectory, and after doing this you can see that this terms comes into picture, and this m star t square is nothing but that is changing with respect to time. And due to that reason, whatever matrix I am going to get here, also a matrix and b matrix, so that is time varying matrix, and this represent the linear time varying system. So now I have LTV system. So what we have found that if you linearize, so again come to the mathematical model. So here you can see that this is just a force system in coordinate of HVT, and here mass is changing with respect to time. So mass is again some kind of a state variable we have treated. So if you treat HVT as a state variable, then this system is just a force system F, X and U. And if you linearize that system about the state, and state M star is M star minus U bar T. So I have decided that with this rate I am going to apply the thrust. Then whatever linearized model I have obtained, that is LTV system, and this is AT and this is BT. So in this way, after getting linear time varying force system, again I have to learn that means how to design control action and everything. So that is the story of the next part of this course. Now let us come to the remark. So suppose what I am telling that if you have some kind of force system FXU, and I have already told you that force system can be converted into either autonomous system and non-autonomous system. So if you select U equal to alpha x, then that will represent some kind of autonomous system. If you select alpha tx, then that will represent some kind of non-autonomous system. And if you linearize that system about the solution or about some kind of a small vicinity, it means that somehow we are going to do this. So I have two-dimensional system and dimension of control is 1, and after that AT matrix is given by this Jacobian about x star and u star, and similarly I have linearized the f with respect to u. I will get the bt, and what is our conclusion? That A and B are time dependent if we linearize the system or about some kind of trajectory. If you linearize about the equilibrium point, then most of time A and B are the constant. So in this way we are doing the linearization most of time based on our application. Either we will select linearization about the trajectory or linearization about the equilibrium point. Now I will discuss one more application, and because this application is also equally relevant for the space mission. So what we are telling that suppose that now after sending the rocket and I have to send something to moon, suppose that. So in order to send something on moon, I have to do the soft landing there because I have to preserve the structure. So that phase is called soft landing. So first what happens that I have sent the rocket means or some object or some kind of robot from the ground, and after that we have to do soft landing. So try to see that what kind of differential equation comes into picture when you are going to do the soft landing. So I am assuming that I have lunar surface, so this may be moon or something, Mars, whatever you want, you can assume it, and I have to land m amount of mass. And g is the gravitational force, and this gravitational force is basically decided by the lunar surface. So if you have moon, then g has a different value. If you have some kind of, you have to land on soft landing on Mars, then value of this g is different. So somehow you have to calculate the value of g. So after several experiment, people have calculated that what is value of g on moon, what is value of g on Mars, and after that if you assume again similar kind of assumption that thrust generated is assumed to be proportional to m dot, and m is the amount of fuel and m is the mass of module, or m is the mass of fuel. Most of time people are using that as a in terms of fuel only. So but for a time being you can assume that mass of whole object is nothing but m. Then dynamical equation, again due to Newton's second law, I can write m y double dot. Y is the distance, So I am assuming that is distance from here to here. This distance I am assuming yt. So I have my double dot, and I have already assumed that whatever thrust. So here you can see that situation is completely now opposite. So what happens? Mg is actually acting on this direction, but I have to apply thrust in the opposite direction. So if you will do that, then basically whatever mathematical equation that comes into picture, so basically I am assuming yt. So here I will get this kind of differential equation. So I am assuming that minus km is now on opposite direction. So here this mg should be positive. So like that, because mg is now supporting us. And under this assumption, again you try to generate the mathematical equation. So here plus g comes into picture, then you are able to get this kind of equation. Again, based, you can decide the trajectory, and based on that trajectory it is possible to do this soft landing app. And if you linearize this model, you can see that this is non-linear model. Why that is non-linear? Because I have 1 by x3 here. Due to that reason, this is non-linear autonomous system. So non-linear autonomous system. So if you do linearization about the equilibrium point, and that is meaningless for this particular purpose, so you have to do linearization about this some trajectory. And most of time scientists or engineers have already decided that under which trajectory you have to do soft landing. And if you do that, then it is possible to show that you are able to get LTV, means linear time varying system. And again, based on that, people have calculated u. So I am going to teach these kind of things in the next part of this course. So now I am going to conclude the today's lecture. So what we have seen, that linearization of some non-linear system about the trajectory is very useful, particularly for a space mission or some kind of safety purpose missile guidance or these kind of things. And means if you learn these kind of concept, then you are able to equally contribute towards the space mission or these kind of program. So with this remark, I am going to close the today's lecture. So thank you very much.